Okay, Laura. Write me a script for a YouTube video explaining the integration of ChatGPT in a car.
According to ChatGPT, sure, I'd be happy to help you with that. However, please note that I am an AI language model, and I cannot physically create a video script for you, but I can definitely provide you with some ideas and information about integrating ChatGPT in a car. Let me know what specific aspects you would like me to cover in the script.
And basically, that's where we already fail. In the German version of this video, she gave me 6 chapters I should cover in the video. Now you would expect me to tell ChatGPT, well, I want to talk about this and this and this, but when I come in this video to the restrictions of ChatGPT in the ENYAQ, you will know why I can't ask this question. And with this, hello friends of the electrified charging fun, and welcome to Electrified Speicher Elektrisiert, your channel all around Skoda's e-mobility. My name is Matthias, and in this video we exactly talk about the integration of ChatGPT in your Skoda ENYAQ, which is available since a couple of days. And if you're interested in that, then you should watch this video. For those who never heard about ChatGPT, I will give you a brief introduction. If you already know what ChatGPT is, then just skip this chapter. ChatGPT is a hype topic over the last 2 years, I would suggest, and it's some sort of artificial intelligence. And basically, ChatGPT is a chatbot. So you can talk to ChatGPT in natural language and you will get a response in natural language back. ChatGPT is a large language model. This also applies to LoRa in your Skoda ENYAQ. Skoda's LoRa is also a large language model, which has its own model, as ChatGPT has, but ChatGPT is way more powerful. So what is a large language model? Well, it already says what it is. It is a language-based model which is capable of giving you language or spoken answers based on information it has. But, and this is very, very important since we talk about an artificial intelligence, it generates new content based on some conditions they were given by the developers to them, and on content it already scraped and gathered together from different sources. So it takes all of this and generates new content, hence the term generative AI or generative artificial intelligence. And I do not want to dig deeper into that. That should be the explanation, but we can do the trick very easy. We could ask ChatGPT itself what it thinks that it is. Ask ChatGPT what ChatGPT is.
From ChatGPT, ChatGPT is an advanced language model developed by OpenAI. It is designed to generate human-like responses based on the input it receives. It uses deep learning techniques to understand and generate text, making it capable of engaging in conversations and providing informative and creative responses.
There you go. And basically, this should be it for this chapter. Let's move on. The integration of ChatGPT in your Skoda ENYAQ is a bit special. Well, but first off, they promised us to deliver this integration in the mid of 2024, and hi, it is here. They kept their promise. They delivered as promised. This is great. And Skoda itself states what it is meant for and what you can and cannot do with it. And basically Skoda says if a question to LoRa goes far beyond following categories: car, data, weather, news, sports or stock market, then Chat Pro, which integrates ChatGPT, will take over and answer. But if you ask along these categories, LoRa itself will try to answer. Well, that's the first restriction we have here. And if the system is taking ChatGPT for the answer, it will always start with from ChatGPT. They could have get rid of this term, but they want you that you know the difference between an answer from Laura and an answer from ChatGPT. The speech you put into Laura will stay the same. You basically only talk with Laura. We come to that later because this causes a lot of problems. And what is also important, you can deactivate the ChatGPT integration at least in every other car than the ENYAQ. Within the ENYAQ, you do not have this option. Within the ENYAQ, ChatGPT is always active. I simply have no clue why Skoda did this. And yeah, it's a bit curious that I cannot deactivate it in an ENYAQ, but in a new Skoda, but in a new Kodiaq. And another thing is ChatGPT actually is only working with 4 languages: English, German, Spanish, and Czech. And it is very important you cannot mix these languages. You need to set your infotainment system to the language you speak, because otherwise Laura cannot understand you. So if I set it to German and speak English, Laura has simply no idea what I'm talking about and cannot translate speech to text correctly. And now let's go and talk about the restrictions which come with this system due to the fact what Skoda is allowing on data to go to ChatGPT and whatnot. Before we talk about the restrictions, I ask ChatGPT what it would provide if it is integrated in a car. And basically what it says, first thing is navigation and route planning, getting the optimal route, getting information on location. One viewer even asked, can you ask ChatGPT that it makes the cheapest route possible? Then the next thing ChatGPT says, it's features and functions of the car and settings, using the infotainment system and accessing information of the car. Then organize everyday life like calendar, appointments, reminders and tasks. Then infotainment, information and entertainment, so news and weather and asking about knowledge you want to have. Then communication, receiving and reading messages, sending messages, telephone calls. Then travel and leisure. Travel tips and recommendations and translations and stuff like that. Then, of course, entertainment for your children like stories and games, and personal assistance to everything you need. And this sounds great, but most of this will not work in the ChatGPT integration of Skoda, because ChatGPT is not allowed to access the car's data nor your personal user information. Every request to ChatGPT will be done anonymous and will be deleted directly afterwards to provide the highest data security. What sounds great is in everyday life a bit awful, because you can't say, I am perfectly fine in giving this information away. And these restrictions lead to the following. ChatGPT will not have your location. So basically every location-based question, what is there 100 meters ahead of me, will not work. You have to provide the location. And with this comes a lot of problems. We talk about that later on. You cannot use ChatGPT to do any function in the car, nor has ChatGPT any information of the data of the car. And it does not have any information on you or your accounts. And this is 80% of what ChatGPT itself recommends to use it for. And the last thing is, since every request gets deleted immediately, you cannot ask context-based questions like you would do on the web when you interact with a chatbot with ChatGPT. So asking a question, getting a response, and then asking a new question based on the response. You simply cannot do this in the ENYAQ because it does not know the previous response. So you have to pack everything up in one single request. And therefore, for example, games will not work because you cannot rely on the answer given before. And now, with all those restrictions, we dig into some examples and I'll show you how it works. Now we're back from Denmark, where it was a rather cold vacation, and here in Switzerland we are already sweating in over 30 degrees. Well, we could call it a summer. And what do you do in summer? Of course, you do a great barbecue. And darling, do you know what? I would love to have some really good burgers tonight.
Great idea.
I think so, but don't go with the fancy stuff from all your recipe books and from all those famous cooks on YouTube and so stuff like that. I want a classic burger, a traditional one, the original one. You know, the first burger ever created. Can you do that?
I'm not sure. Who did invent the burger?
Great question. Who invented the hamburger? Was it McDonald's?
According to ChatGPT, the hamburger was not invented by McDonald's. The origin of the hamburger is not definitive, but it is believed to have originated in the United States in the early 20th century.
Great, but now we don't know what to put on that classic burger, right? She only told us, well, it was not invented by McDonald's, so what does belong on a good hamburger?
From ChatGPT, the toppings that go well on a good hamburger can vary depending on personal preference. Some popular options include lettuce, tomato, cheese, pickles, onions, bacon, and condiments like ketchup, mustard, and mayonnaise.
I think that's quite boring, just putting on ketchup or mayonnaise, don't you think?
Yes.
Well, maybe we should go with our favorite sauce. We did ourselves the Carolina Gold one. Let's see if she knows how a Carolina Gold sauce is made. What are the ingredients of the Carolina Gold sauce?
From ChatGPT, the ingredients of Carolina Gold sauce typically include vinegar, mustard, brown sugar, Worcestershire sauce, hot sauce, and various spices.
Not bad at all, not bad at all. It's not Carolina Bold, but Carolina Gold. But I'll give it to her. This was a perfect answer, and we know what burgers to do tonight. It's boring to drive on long highway travels, so let's get entertained by ChatGPT, and I'll try this one. Please give me a summary of the book Dune from Frank Herbert.
According to ChatGPT, Dune is not a book written by Frank Herbert. Frank Herbert is best known for his novel Dune, which is a science fiction masterpiece set in a distant future where interstellar travel, political intrigue, and ecological struggles take center stage.
Well, that was not bad. She did not understand my Dune and misinterpreted as June, but I was pretty sure I did not use a J but a D in front of it. But as you can see, you can do something like book summaries. You can do also other stuff like, how would you explain electricity to a medieval knight?
From ChatGPT, I'm sorry, but it is not possible to provide electricity to a medieval knight as electricity was not available during that time period.
Okay, maybe I need to restructure the prompt. Explain the concept of electricity to a medieval knight.
Not everything has to make sense. All it has to be is fun.
Well, again, that was only Laura, that was not ChatGPT. So again, using ChatGPT, how would you explain the concept of electricity to a medieval knight?
According to ChatGPT, electricity is a form of energy that can power various devices and make them work. It is created when tiny particles called electrons move through conductive materials. Although electricity wasn't known during medieval times, think of it as a force that can be harnessed to create light, heat, and motion. It's like the power of lightning, climate-controlled and used for practical purposes. Just like a night's armor protects them, electricity can power tools and machines to make tasks easier and more efficient.
I bet that knight would slay me directly if I give him that answer, but, well, at least it was a try. Maybe we go with something easier here. Using ChatGPT to tell me a joke.
Oh, that's something I still need to learn.
Please tell me a joke using ChatGPT.
According to ChatGPT, sure, here's a joke for you. Why don't scientists trust atoms? Because they make up everything.
Yeah, you can find that funny or not, but you can also use Laura, as you know, for telling you a joke in saying simply, tell me a joke. Tell me a joke.
Oh, my developers didn't teach me that, but I'll give it a go anyway. I couldn't work out how to fasten my seatbelt. Then it clicked.
And here you go. This might be funny, but this is highly repetitive because the jokes are always the same. Stop recording. What a beautiful lake. So, of course I know what lake it is, but let's try it with Laura and ChatGPT. We are near Wallenstadt in Switzerland and there's a big lake. Can you tell me what lake that is?
Sorry, I don't know how to do that yet.
Okay, let's try it in a different way. We are driving on the highway near Wallenstadt and there's a big lake. Can you tell us which lake that is?
Sorry, I don't know how to do that yet.
We see we've got a big problem here. It's the same when you use English words in German with ChatGPT and Laura, and here when you use German words with English, because she has simply no idea on how to spell them, so she spells them wrong, and then all our prompts or our questions are not able to be executed. So basically this is a tough one, but let's try another option here. I prepared several statements, some of them worked already before, but let's see what she says when I ask. Can you give me more information about the Wahlen Lake?
Here is what I found on Wikipedia in the article. Alan Lake. Alan Lake was an English actor, best known as the third and final husband.
Well, I did not want to hear something about this actor. Let's give it another try. Can you give me information about the Walensee in Switzerland?
According to ChatGPT, Valence is not located in Switzerland. Valence is a city in France.
That might be correct, but you see, you got some problems if you're in a foreign country and have to use their spelling, their wording, and get information. So let's try another one, and we'll use now something which is better suited for English. I am in London and I see a big church. Can you tell me something about that?
I found these places.
And what you see here is, this is not ChatGPT, because all prompts from, or all answers on prompts from ChatGPT starts with according to ChatGPT. This is Laura and Skoda's own engine trying to give you answers, and it failed here. So let's give it another try. In Paris, there is one big church which burned down recently. Can you give me more information on that church?
I am afraid that question is too hard for me.
And again, she did not pass it over to ChatGPT. So basically it's getting a bit rough here. Let's try something else. Last try here. In London there is a river flowing. Can you give me information on that river?
I'm not sure, sorry.
In London there is a river, and can you give me information on that river, please?
This point of interest is called London.
And again, she did not pass it over to ChatGPT. So basically, I'll try it now with a direct command. Use ChatGPT to answer the following question. In London there is a river and I want more information on that.
According to ChatGPT, the River Thames is a prominent river in London. It flows through the heart of the city and is an iconic feature.
There you go. You have sometimes to force Laura to use ChatGPT in telling her use ChatGPT, and it works, but it's not that perfect because this is one of my major use cases when traveling. Seeing something in the vicinity, I want to know more about it. This should be it for this video. We've learned a lot about the integration of ChatGPT in your ENYAQ. And the limitations are a lot. Basically, the first one occurs when you mix up language. And basically, this is something you do. When you're in a foreign country and want to ask about anything that interests you, it will be very likely that you use a different language because simply it is named different, as I did here with some Switzerland words. And Laura cannot put that speech into text, so basically it cannot be transported over to ChatGPT, which would not have any problems with mixed up language. So basically, yes, you have to put everything in the language you're talking with Laura, and if that is not possible, you will not get a very good answer from ChatGPT. And the next thing you already saw is that you cannot decide whether to ask the question to Laura or to ChatGPT. You have to do some workaround with please ask ChatGPT and stuff like that it goes explicitly to ChatGPT, and you cannot force the system to do so, which leads to some really curious results, as you saw around all the travel questions I had. And also the speech-to-text recognition of Laura is not the best, so she does a lot of errors here, and this leads to bad results again. And then the circumstance that no data from the car and no data from you can be provided for ChatGPT, even if you want, you do not have any option to set that, limits it further. So you have to reduce it to very few use cases for some fun questions, maybe for some information, but basically as of now, that's it. And for me, yeah, it's nice to get ChatGPT integration for free, don't get me wrong, but this is not real use cases. I want to do different stuff, and it does not provide me that. So basically, after this video, I think I will not make a lot of use of this integration because due to the lack of features, but who knows what will come in the future. And another thing I find pretty interesting or curious is that it is only available for software 4 ENYAQs and that it is not retrofitted to software 3 ENYAQs, because basically this does not run in your car. This runs on a server somewhere, and there was no update when I got ChatGPT in my car. No update was needed for the car because it's simply an integration on the back end of Skoda, and Laura just have more routes to go with your request. So I don't see why it should not come to 3.7 or whatever ENYAQs, and I hope it will be delivered backwards to those cars too, and I hope they really improve on this, because it could be really great, but it needs a lot of improvement, and I hope this was the first step of integrating it and not just throwing it at the people and then do nothing again. And now you're questioned what would you ask Laura or ChatGPT in your car? Do you have better examples? Write me in the comments. Would you use it? I'm really interested in your opinion. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so that you do not miss out any video in the future. And if you like that video, give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate that. And now we see each other in the next video. And until then, stay full of energy.